get, for example? And what is the rationale for giving it out there? Just to get people to want to live in Alaska? I mean, I don't know.
So it was almost 40 years ago, and a Republican governor realized they had tons of oil in the ground. They were going to make some money. And so he went to the Alaskan people and said, who would you rather get the money, the government or you? And then the people of Alaska said, us. And it's like, oh, I thought you'd say that. So then that has grown over time to the point where now everyone in Alaska gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. And this is man, woman, or child. So if you're a family of 4, you're going to get, let's call it $8,000. And that's significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this program in Alaska has created thousands of jobs, has improved children's health and nutrition. It's wildly popular. It's decreased income inequality. And it stood the test of time through all of these years and now decades. So this is an example of something. And if you ask someone in Alaska whether they like it, they love it. It's like the favorite thing that the government does. A majority of Alaskans who absolutely hate taxes said they would accept higher taxes if it meant keeping the dividend. They like the dividend so much.
So Alaska's got the oil. What does mainland America have that can pay? First of all, more. You say they get $1,000 a year. So you're proposing the universal basic income, the freedom dividend, $1,000 a month for everyone 18 and older, right?
They have oil. We have marijuana. No, I'm kidding.
That's a lot of weed.
No, we have technology.
Yeah.
Technology is the oil of the 21st century. And
we have Elon Musk.
We have Elon Musk. We have Jeff Bezos, richest man alive.
Right.
Still, even post-divorce, I think he's the richest man alive still.
Yep.
So Amazon...
Not the best divorce, by the way. I was so fascinated by... Just by the fact of the divorce, his ex-wife became like the third richest woman in the world.
Yeah.
God bless her. That's amazing. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, not at all.
That's
no,
definitely worth
digressing
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Amazon's this $1 trillion tech company, closing 30% of our stores and malls and paying 0 in taxes. And that's not unusual. They regularly pay 0 in taxes.
I always hear that. I mean, I've been hearing that stat for so long.
How does it work? Because I feel like we became pretty successful, and the more we made, we pay more.
The more you pay.
We go
the same way.
I'm like, I go to my accountant. I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm paying 50% taxes. I thought I was supposed to be paying like 0. And he laughs at me and says, oh, well, that's just for
that's like
billion-dollar companies that have fleets of accountants and lawyers.
Yup. Yeah. So I've been in the same boat. I ran a private company, and we also paid 40 to 50% in taxes quite regularly. And so then you look up and you say, how the heck is Amazon paying 0 in taxes? I can explain it. Most of these tech companies are multinationals. So what they do is they move their profits and often their revenue to markets that have lower tax rates. You know, one haven that everyone uses? Ireland. Somehow all the money is going through Ireland.
So what does that mean practically? Okay, how do you operate a business chiefly in America and then somehow... What does Ireland have to do with you not paying taxes?
With Amazon not paying taxes.
Yeah, or Amazon.
So Amazon has businesses all over the world, and so they can shift revenue and expenses through different divisions. The other thing is that...
But they can say our company in Ireland made $1 trillion or whatever?
Yeah,
more or less.
And that's just all... And people are... And you know, our
government is so dumb that goes on.
Our oversight is just like, cool, that's all good.
Yeah.
If I go to the IRS and be like, yeah, I deducted... all of my money. I didn't make any money this year. And they're like, cool.
Another trick they use, which doesn't work for companies like ours, but it works for Amazon, you can expense stock compensation of various types. So what they do is they look around. The other thing they can expense is they can expense various future regarding investments. So Amazon will look up and they'll literally look up and say, oh, it looks like we're gonna make some money this year. That's unacceptable. Let's take that extra couple $100 million or billion or whatnot and plow it into this new division.
So they buy Twitch.
Yeah, they can.
Right.
Or they can just say, let's pay our executives a ton in stock options. And guess what? That's an expense.
That's an expense. Oh, my God.
And so, and it makes us rich too, like, you know, score. So they'll look at it and there are different ways they can get the taxes down to 0.
Complicated, you know, because it just seems so stupidly simple. And I've been hearing this for what seems like my whole life, yet how is it possible that nobody has been able to get taxes from these huge companies?
Well, that's what we need to change. And so when people look around and
but
say,
is it that easy? Because I've been hearing that like my whole life. I mean, what's different about you?
A lot of it is that I'm not owned by any corporate masters. We have 160,000 plus donors, and the average donation in our campaign is only $26. So I joke our fans in the Yang Gang, thank you, Yang Gang, are even cheaper than Bernie's fans. So I don't owe any lobbyists any, backroom favors.
Is that it? It's just lobbying?
A lot of it's lobbying.
And
'cause
then,
if you're a
then you have
company-
Congress people who are being lobbied. Right.
Corporate money has completely overrun our politics. There are a few independent legislators, but in this legislative body of hundreds of bought and sold legislators, you have a few people. Washington, D.C. chews up and spits out idealists. It does. It's a
Really?
total mess. Have you spent any time there? It's a disaster.
No.
So there's a pretty obvious fix to this. And the fix is what other countries around the world figured out decades ago, which is to have a system that doesn't revolve around Amazon paying out a share of profits, but instead has them pay a value-added tax. So you take a tiny toll. And we've all experienced this when we go abroad. There's a VAT, and it's like oxygen, and it works.
Right.
And so if Amazon said, hey, we didn't make any money this year, we'd be like, we don't care. Like, you pay us a toll on everything. Same with
doesn't
every
the
Google
consumer
search,
pay
same
the
with every
VAT?
Facebook ad. Well, that's one reason why what my plan is to take that money and then some and just return it to American consumers immediately in the form of a dividend. Increases the purchasing power of 94% of Americans, is a game changer for families and children and women, minorities. So in a vacuum, if you just passed a VAT, we would successfully get the money from the Amazons of the world, but our prices would go up this much. Then if you take that money and say, look, just put it back into consumers' hands and then some, then you increase our buying power, and then it creates a virtuous cycle.
So in this video, Andrew Yang is bringing up ideas that other candidates aren't really talking about. Maybe Bernie a little bit, but candidates like Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke, they're not talking about transnational corporations and the specifics of how they can get away with paying zero in taxes. Bringing up that some of these specific companies try to hide a lot of their money in Ireland, or they try and put a lot of their money in Ireland where they don't have the same tax rates. Bringing up the fact that you have companies like Amazon that are trying to write off executive stock options and executive stock giveaways as expenses, and then claiming that they didn't make a profit because they're doing that, or they're putting a lot of investment into new developments within the company, or increasing executives' pay and trying to write that off. Companies doing those things, a lot of American people are not happy about it. You have, I'm personally a teacher. As far as teaching goes, made about 44 grand this year as a second-year teacher, and I'm going to end up paying a higher percentage in taxes than a lot of these corporations. Even other professionals, dentists and lawyers and doctors, some of these individuals that aren't huge executives of a monstrous company, they're going to pay way more in taxes than these corporations. Andrew Yang ran a smaller tech business that didn't have an army of lawyers and accountants, and he had to pay a lot for his business. The guy doing the podcast has to pay a lot in taxes. So a lot of Americans know that we have a rigged tax system. There was a study that was showing how the IRS, they don't spend most of their time going after the wealthiest individuals because they know that it's difficult and that it's complicated and it takes a lot of time and resources. So instead they go after basically middle class people, which a lot of people would say, like, this shouldn't be happening. This is completely unfair. Andrew Yang also adding input with the value-added tax, saying how some other countries, they do it more of like basically a toll tax, where they say, we don't care if you made money or not, you have to pay on the services that you did in our country. We don't care about your profit, and saying that the US should adopt that, and that would help pay for the freedom dividend. People try to laugh at Andrew Yang as if his ideas are just ridiculous, but he highlights how he's going to pay for everything. He has a background in economics. If you look at some of his core answers, he goes into economic theory. Someone asked him in a Quora post, they said, won't the freedom dividend just lead to inflation? And he goes, according to economic theory, inflation happens when you put more money in the economy, or when you add more money into circulation, basically printing more money. And he's saying, no, the freedom dividend will be coming from existing dollars. We're not going to print more money for the freedom dividend, therefore it shouldn't lead to an increase in inflation.